You're
Namaste
on
ji.
mute, ma'am.
Namaste.
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 Such a pleasure to have you with us. Are we ready to begin, ma'am? You're
Thank
comfortable?
you. Thank you so much. I'm very comfortable. Thanks a lot.
Great.
You may please begin.
Let's begin.
Yeah, sure.
If death strikes before I prove my blood, I promise I will kill death. Lieutenant Manoj Kumar Pandey. Namaste, Sonali ma'am, Annapurna ma'am, respected guests for today, Flight Lieutenant Dr. Renu Lamba, teachers, parents, and my dear friends. Namaste, everyone. Today, we gather to commemorate an important day in Indian history, Kargil Vijay Diwas. Please join me in welcoming our guest, a veteran of the Kargil War, who will share her experiences and insights with us today. Kargil Vijay Diwas is observed annually on 26th of July to mark a significant moment in our country's history, which is India's victory over Pakistani forces on the Kargil Heights. This year, we commemorate the 25th anniversary of this historic event. It is my privilege to welcome you for an interaction with our esteemed guest speaker, Flight Lieutenant Dr. Renu Lamba, whose determination and fighting spirit is an inspiration. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. I now request our principal, Sonali, to welcome our guests.
Thank you, Hana. Namaste. Namaste to all the parents who've joined us, children, teachers, and a very special namaste to Flight Lieutenant Dr. Renuji, who has taken out time to be with us today. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so
Today,
much.
Kargil Vijay Diwas, ma'am, is a very, very special day for all of us at the Shri Ram Millennium School, Faridabad. Year after year, we have been very fortunate to get people who have been Kargil War veterans to our school, interacting with our children, and very, very fortunate to have you take out the time and be here with our children. I'm sure our children will have a lot of takeaways by the end of today's session. I would also like to share with you that last year on this special day, we had Captain Akhilesh Saxena with us, and he has shared with us a scan code. Our children are writing messages on a Padlet, and those will be shared with the Indian Armed Forces out there. But on that note, a huge salute to the Indian Armed Forces for keeping us safe so that we can sleep peacefully while they are awake, guarding us 24/7. Hats off, Jai Hind, and really, really, really looking forward to today's talk. Back to you, Ahana. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we commence with today's interaction, let me request you all to mindfully keep your mics on mute and cameras off throughout this session. Flight Lieutenant Renu Lamba, a Kargil veteran, is from the second batch of women technical officers in the Indian Air Force. She has been the topper of her batch. The pioneering batches in Indian Air Force were not offered a permanent commission at that time. With a diverse and rich experience, which included being a proud part of Operation Vijay during the Kargil conflict, Flight Lieutenant Lamba moved on to the corporate sector and finally decided to follow her passion of educating and molding young minds. To strengthen her commitment to education, she founded a not-for-profit company called EduRise India Foundation to serve the underprivileged children and women. Flight Lieutenant Renu Lamba is also an adventure sports enthusiast and has led an all IAF women officers team to Mount Rudugera, which is 19,019 feet in Garhwal Himalayas. She is a paratrooper apart from being an active sports person till date. Ma'am, we are indeed honored to have you here with us. We are eager to listen to you. I now request you to please take the session forward. Over to you, ma'am.
Warm welcome, Renu ma'am. Really looking
Thank
forward.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ahana. That was such wonderful introduction. And
Thank
it's so
you.
nice to see the young, the young lad coming here and giving this introduction and talking so confidently. So all compliments to you, school and teachers.
And
So
Renu ma'am, I would just like to share with you that while you're talking, you are being watched by all our children from grade 2 to 12, while the
okay,
post to class 12 are sitting in the auditorium, seeing you on a very,
okay,
very big screen. Our children are
okay.
also attending your talk from the respective classes.
Oh, wonderful. I'm
Yeah.
so privileged. So privileged. Thank you so
Ma'am,
very
we are
much.
privileged. And thank you
Thank
once
you.
again, really.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. So, I really want to speak a little bit about Kargil first, and then I'll speak about my journey in Indian Air Force. So, dear students, my most dear students, Principal Ma'am, Miss Sonali Gupta, Vice Principal Ma'am, Anupama Das Ma'am, all faculties present here, I can see there, and parents and other students who are attending from anywhere. Namaste and Jai Hind. You know, so I'm really humbled by this invitation. I'm really want to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to share my experience and the spirit of Kargil War. Okay. So, you all children, I'm really looking forward to interacting with you all, because you all are the highlight of my today's, talk here. Well, I just want to start my speech with a quote. Either I'll come back after hosting the Tiranga, or I'll come back wrapped in it, but I'll come back for sure. I unquote. These are the words of Captain Vikram Batra, who, when went for Kargil War, actually said it to his friends. He says, either ways, I'm going to come back. So Kargil is again a story of grit and conviction of Indian soldiers. We have created lot many stories in the past. Indian armed forces have been really motivated and accomplished in their own way. But this Kargil conflict is something we really need to understand today what it is, right? So before I really speak about my journey, I just want to give you all bit of an idea about what this conflict, what this war was. And I'm really happy that you are in school where your teachers, your parents really are making you understand the history of India and trying to make you understand how we all are safe, secured, and living a happy life, right? The Kargil conflict, a war, technically not a war, thrust upon us by Pakistan, is a saga of valor, dedication, and supreme sacrifice of Indian soldiers. Pak soldiers, disguised as militants, infiltrated the Indian side of LOC with intention of cutting off the vital supplies in Siachen so as to force Indian soldiers to withdraw. They occupied certain place in Siachen so that the NH1, which was supplying these vital things to the soldiers in Siachen, should get cut off, right? In response, the then Prime Minister, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the statesman, the peacemaker, actually launched the Operation Vijay. And I am very fortunate to be part of Operation Vijay, which I'm going to share with you all. So the daring and resolute military operations were carried out, were conducted, and we could take hold of all those strategic peaks, positions which were taken by the Pakistan militants or the soldiers, like they were actually the Pakistan soldiers. So on 26 July 1999, after a fierce battle of 3 months, we were able to evict all the militants and were established our Tiranga on these areas. So this is a small gist of what the Kargil War was. Now coming back to my role in the Indian Air Force and my role in Operation Vijay. So a young graduate engineer, 22-year-old, long back in 93, I was out of college and I started preparing my engineering services exams. And that's when, so I just want to know the students are comfortable with English, or do you want me to speak in Hindi and mix?
Both, ma'am. You can use a mix of both. They're
Okay, okay.
comfortable with English
Uh,
completely, but if you want to add a few things in Hindi, they're
yeah,
most comfortable.
they'll
Yes.
understand. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So, when I was preparing for my engineering service, that's the time my father got me a newspaper cutting of the advertisement of women entry in Indian Air Force, So, it was like a dream come true. I always wanted to be in uniform, and everybody would tell women cannot enter uniform. So, it was like a passion rekindled once again. So, like eye of a bird, IA become my focus. You know, so I left IAS because that I was just doing for what I really don't know. But my focus was IAF. I gave SSB and I was able to crack the SSB. I did very well. But to my bad luck, I was underweight. I was 15 kg underweight and I was medically rejected, you know. So I had to go and join the next batch. It did deter me. I persevered. I again went, gave the SSB, which is a long 5 day process. I again topped, you know, and this time my medical went very smooth. I was really conscious about my health and my weight that time. And I became an officer in Indian Air Force. I was again the topper of my batch, and it is such a great feeling, you know, and young officer, very motivated. I was very self-driven. I was really looking forward to working in Air Force and in uniform. And the day came, I got commissioned in 94 May. We got very, very hard training, but it was so wonderful to go through these training processes. IAF is one of the finest organization in the world, you know, in the world. So I feel so fortunate that I've been trained by something like this organization. And I was enjoying my work. I got my few postings, and being an enthusiast, you know, adventure sports enthusiast, as was told in my introduction. I did my basic and advanced mountaineering. I did technical peaks, and the first IAF women team, we went to Peak Rudugaira in Garhwal, Himalaya. Anna is told that it is 19,019 feet. It was tremendous experience, let me tell you. I mean, you really understand how difficult terrains can be, extremely high altitude. And then, I mean, this is 20,000, and in Garhwal, Himalaya, imagine our troops, you know, where they fought with the ammunitions and, you know, with the gear they were wearing on those high treacherous and very difficult terrain. So then, you know, of course, I got my second posting is when we got to know that Operation Vijay has been launched. And so I can narrate how Operation Vijay was for me. But fortunately, I thought I must share my thoughts at that point, you know, those moments when the operation was going on. I used to write diary. And today I have taken few clips from my diary and put it in this presentation, which I want to share with you because I just want you to understand what goes in the mind when you are in uniform, you're so young, you know, what kind of determinations are required, what kind of prayers you make at that point of time, how you are so confused, what is going on, you know, every day has changed into something very different today. So may I request Kiti ma'am to please put the first slide. So this is when I passed out from my academy and Air Force Technical College, and I got my first posting. I finished my training. I was ready to take charge of my unit. So the second slide is the slide. Second, ma'am, next slide. Okay. Now, this is the diary that I used to write, you know, and this is when the conflict began. So, few of the lines that I have underlined, I want you all to read. In fact, I'm going to read for you. It's like, you know, after one of the meetings, my coup, who is the chief operating officer, he looking at me, he said, be ready. Now you all will be airlifted in short notices. I really couldn't get somehow. and I went on doing my routine job. I really didn't understand why will we be airlifted and sent to somewhere else. Though I had a background, because prior to that I had gone to a place called Nal, which is close to Bikaner, which is on the border. So there I met some of my colleagues who are the pilots, who are the transport pilots, who were actually accumulating ammunitions and food in Siachen. And I was trying to understand. So, do you understand it? The mission was so secret that even we in armed forces were not aware till the time it started, right? So, these are the last paragraph that I have highlighted is in 714 SU, where I was posted. We have set up the sector, deployed our guards. I drew my arms. We were told that go and draw your arms, like the officers take pistol and all. And they also called me at 1600 hours. I got a call that come and take the ammunitions. Well, as the day progressed, the Kargil sector came in news more. We got the information of air raids in Kargil sector, and yes, it started. The war started. The next slide, ma'am. So this is 27th May 1999. 3rd May, though we officially started, the Indian Army was already on the mission. But I'm talking about the air raids and all when started. So, even here, I'm trying to understand what is happening in Air Force. Life was very different prior to Kargil conflict started, and life is very different now. So, what kind of discrimination as a young officer I made? Today was my morning and night shifts. There was lot of load today. Lot of exercise circuits were to be engineered. So the unit I was posted was very, very important unit. All the operational circuits were going through that. All the communication, most important communication was happening through that. And I was doing ground defense. Ground defense is like you're protecting your unit from some air raid or some enemy attack, right? So the Operation Vijay is this operation was called Operation Vijay, and the Air Force exercise is called Exercise Safed Sagar. This Operation Vijay is going to be a great Vijay, victory for my country. It is going to emerge a stronger and a greater. It is going to help. I wrote in quite a hurry, so please don't look at my English. What I'm trying to say here, that after this war, my country is going to emerge stronger and greater India. God, each and every person of my country grow as a great nationalist, a better human being, a stronger human being. Everything is fine, but no compromise on Kashmir issue. Kashmir is ours and it will remain ours. So these are the kind of determination that I was making at that point of time, and I used to hardly get any time. Me and my roommate, we were never meeting. That's another officer. We were never able to meet because when I am duty, I come home for bathing and all that. She is on duty, so हम मिल नहीं पाते थे. और देर यूज टू बी टाइम्स कि समझ नहीं आ रहा तो हम मिरर पे लिख के जाते थे कि didn't see you for 2-3 days and I'm had my lunch and I'm going, because at least she'll give a look at the mirror. She may miss my slip that I'll write anywhere, but at least mirror she'll be able to. It was just at the exit. So this is how we were communicated. My next page from my diary, ma'am, please. So this is, I got the newspaper and I immediately put that cutting on in my diary, and I saw which are these peaks, which we are defending. So in the end that I have written is feeling strongly to go to Srinagar and work on forefront. God, I pray with this, my country grows spiritually. I, as a child, and even now, I'm a very spiritual, very, very, spiritual oriented person. So I'm just, when I read this, I opened this diary after almost 20 years. Thank you to each one of you that I could revisit my diary. So Why? Because there was a dilemma going on in my mind. You know, my next page in my diary will also tell you there was a dilemma going on in my mind that every time war happens, lot of innocent people die, right? So the next page, can I read and I'll just be able to explain you better what is going on in my mind. I think, yeah. So it was war. Like I'm convincing myself, no, it is war. The Pak has sent some 1,600 intruders and few hundred soldiers in our region of Kargil. I am convincing myself again and again. This was happening all around me, and I'm telling myself that we will not compromise on our territory. Yes, humanity is important. Yes, war is barbarous, but because of war, a lot of innocent people die. But I am not going to compromise on my territory. Kashmir is ours, right? So I have written uh, the lines that I have underlined here or highlighted here. I have to be a complete soldier now. I'm telling myself, be very merciless. I have to be complete soldier. I am so fortunate I could be used for nation now. I mean, now is the time to pay back to my nation, right? So my dilemma got over by now, and I became more ferocious. And the night duties that we used to do, we used to do a lot of guard checks and all. uh, we were very cautious because the infiltrators will come even in your unit, because this is the most important unit. They would want to bomb it or attack this unit because this will break our connection with the people who are at the forefront. you know so these are my and I must tell you that once you adorn the uniform, once you wear the uniform, that courage, that grit comes. Having said that, that doesn't mean that you all lack it because you're not in uniform. Each one of us can actually develop that kind of courage, that kind of conviction, that kind of determination. So we all know that we were able to evict all the infiltrators, and we were able to win over these intruders, these Pakistan army soldiers, and with less, of course, there were a lot of casualties. We know a lot of them because I went to base hospital when a lot of dead bodies came, and the dead bodies were not treated very well. I also know of my very dear friend who, when evicted the fighter aircraft, fell in the Pakistan region, Pakistan border within that. So he was very fortunate that Red Cross has seen him, human rights people were there. And so he was not taken as prisoner of war and he could come back. So these are some of the incidents that I wanted to share with you all. And I am really looking forward to some of the questions from my young friends where we can just discuss. And I want to understand if they have really understood anything from what I have spoken. So we can put the last slide or we can take away the presentation and have students on the screen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anupama ma'am. Thank you, Principal
My
ma'am.
God, Renu ma'am, thank you. Just listening to just those flashback and the scenes of the visuals that came across through your writing, one cannot even imagine what it would have been to be there. And today, when
Thank you
you're
so much.
sharing all of this on behalf of our entire student community, it's really it's a privilege, it's an honor to be listening to this, and our congratulations to all of you who've
Thank you
done
so
this for our
much.
country.
Thank
Yes,
you, ma'am.
I'm sure the children have a lot of questions. We have some of them in queue. Ahana, are
Okay.
you going to take it forward?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for such a wonderful session. It was indeed quite engaging. Ma'am, some of our students have questions. If you permit, maybe we'll take a few questions. So first we
Definitely.
have Soumya of grade 7.
Namaste, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, my name is Soumya. Ma'am,
Okay.
my question is that we as citizens are dedicated to our country irrespective of our gender. So, why is it that the role of women is limited in the army and how can we encourage them further?
How wonderful. Such wonderful question. Soumya, thank you so much for asking this question. I never knew that this point can also come. So let me just tell you my story. When we entered armed forces, there were no women in the armed forces. So when I got this opportunity, prior to that, there were no women in armed forces. So when I got this opportunity, I backed that opportunity. I never left that opportunity, and I got into armed forces. And that too, there was lot of gender discrimination. We were taken in certain branches. We were taken as a transport pilot, helicopter pilot, engineers, or some ground duty. We were still not taken as a fighter pilots or in the fighting force, infantry, artillery, and all that. And after our short service commission, we were asked to quit, because I'm women and the male officers were to continue. That was such a big injustice that was done to you. So, anyways, let me tell you my journey. After that, I went to court. I mean, my journey continued for 14, 15 years till December 22 when I lost my case in Supreme Court because my ACRs is like your work is rated by your superiors, was fantastic. I was my batch topper. And there were vacancies because you're giving opportunity to male officers and you're not giving it to me. And I lost case in the court of Chief Justice of India. And now I am going to write letter to President of India that we are talking about gender inclusivity and women empowerment. Here I am who is fighting the case, and I have lost in the courts, law of the court where law was with me. You know, so, what I'm trying to tell here is that there is going to be a long battle, right? But all this 15 years of fight that I did, because of that, at least women are now taken in all the arms and in all the branches. Women are now fighter pilots, women are now taken in fighting force and army and navy executive branch. So maybe I am at loss, but the future generation and you all who are going to join armed forces will not be facing this kind of injustice. So I just want to tell you all here is that it's a fight that has to continue. Sometimes we may not reap the fruit of our fight, but it gives you a lot of satisfaction to see that the future generation is able to reap that benefit. Fine. So, but I'm very happy that somebody, Soumya, you are aware of these discriminations. Sorry. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Next we have Navina of class 9th. Please go ahead with your question.
Namaste, ma'am. My name is Navina. I'm from class 9B.
Okay.
So, my question to you is what role did teamwork and camaraderie play during the Kargil conflict?
So Kargil was actually about teamwork and camaraderie. We all three armed forces were very coordinated. We did a lot of reconnaissance before the intelligence input. So probably because we were together as a team, we were able to win over. If you really look that your enemy is at a height, you are here, their artillery is there. They can actually gun and they can actually fire you. It's very easy. But it's because of the complete teamwork of all the three arms, right? Indian Air Force, Indian Navy, Indian Army, more so for our Navy and, Army and Air Force. Of course, the intelligence and some civil companies who were making those equipments, and it was total. So when I have written in my diary that I want to go to the forefront, to fight. even if I have not gone to the forefront, I was a very big supporting force in that Kargil. So our victory was simply because we were together. We were supporting each other. The way I told you that my roommate and we were not one squad leader Mamta was there. We were not able to talk to each other, but we were always there to motivate each other. That it's okay. Please go ahead and do your duties. We may not be able to sleep for next 3, 4, 5, 6 days, but we will be able to achieve our victories, right? Are you happy, Lavina? Lavina, na, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
you're welcome. Okay.
Namaste, ma'am. My name is Sasha. Ma'am, my question is, how do you view the role of women from now to when you were served?
Role of women presently or for last so many
Ma'am,
years?
how do
Okay,
you compare it?
okay. So if you really look at it, when we entered the armed forces, they didn't know what to do with us. For 100 years, army only was running with male officers. So there were a lot of struggles. We didn't have toilets, and we were actually the seniors were very strict with us, or they were pampering some of us. So both are wrong. We were not taken as officer, we were taken as women officer. We had to really emphasize, no, we are officers, we are not women officers, we're just officers. So please treat us like that. So we had very struggles which were very different than the struggles those are here now. Now the struggles are that we've spent so many years, we have understood, the women has understood how the system functions. Why are women not being given the senior position, the commanding positions, the positions in air headquarter and army headquarters? So these are different kind of challenges. So challenges were always there, and challenges are going to be there because we have very recently understood that we need to empower our women. And when women gets empowered, the nation's landscape changes. The nation's economy changes, the social structure changes. So, of course, there are going to be challenges. The challenges of every time will be different. So, our challenges were that why are we not in fighting forces? And now the challenges are why are you not giving us promotion to take the senior positions? We, as it is, are less compared to male officers. So our the fight is there, the challenges are different, right? So our role as a fighter hasn't changed, but the challenges that we are going to face is definitely different. Is that okay, Sakshat?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Namaste, ma'am. I'm Yashasvi this side. Can you share a memorable moment or incident from your time during the Kargil conflict that has stayed with you?
During the Kargil conflict?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So to be very honest, every moment is memorable, every moment is memorable. But the beginning is something which always is with me. So what happened, I narrated in my story also that first week of May, I went to Nal. Nal is a place on Rajasthan border. Some of you must have seen that it's shown in number of movies. Some of the movies that border is shown. So I had gone for some, we call it temporary duty. I had some escort duty there. So while having breakfast, my colleagues were sitting with me, and they were the Chandigarh crew. They were from Chandigarh Air Force Station, and they were halting for the night in Nal. So we started talking, and so it was such secret that the Pakistan infiltrators has come on the Indian side of LOC, and we may have to launch the Operation Vijay. Right? Nobody knew. All this we knew later on, even being in armed forces. So civilians, anyways, didn't know. So they told that we are collecting all the ammunitions and food there. And that time, as a young officer, you're trying to understand war ho raha hai, but I am not doing anything. I'm going and having food. I'm doing my regular routine duty. Okay, they told me yes. And then when I come back to my unit, my crew tells me you will be airlifted very soon. And I still remember the kind of look I gave it to him. I was trying to understand we will airlifted and will taken where. And within next 4 5 hours, we understood everything. You know, our pilots have started doing the airstrikes. You know, my very dear friend. Uh, See, now I know that he came back, but that time I knew he ejected and has fallen in the enemy territory. And I know that how prisoners of war are treated. And especially from Pakistan, they don't come for life. So those moments where there was fear, Nachiketa will come back or not, then the other emotions were also playing that no, I'm a Fauji. I don't have to be, mourning or the loss of my soldier. Then to my role in the war. So all these are very, very memorable and very close to my heart. Thank you so much, Yashashvi. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Namaste, ma'am. What inspired you to join the Indian Air Force, and how did your experience in the Kargil War shape your perspective on serving the nation?
Oh, how wonderful. Okay. So, what motivated me to join armed forces as a young child when there was not too much of exposure? Unlike in your time, you have YouTube, mobiles, this image, that image. We didn't have any, you know. So, my father, I was studying in a place called Korba, which is Chhattisgarh. It's a small town earlier it used to be Madhya Pradesh. It's a small town in a state of Chhattisgarh. And so my father's, very dear friends, relatives were here and they were in uniform. They started describing how there is life in armed forces. And I was I really got so impressed by the uniform. It came to my mind, I want to join armed forces. I mean, I somehow feel that because my desire to join armed forces was so strong that it came right at the moment when I would have started some career in life. You know, so that is also what I feel, that if you desire something so strongly, it will happen. Of course, you have to put in an effort towards that. So those are some moments, some time that I remember had actually motivated me to join armed forces. And I very clearly remember uncle telling me, but women are not in air force, or the armed forces. आप कैसे join करोगे? And I kept thinking and innovating, how can I join armed forces? Though I was preparing for my engineering services, but I don't think I was interested in it at all. And so this opportunity came. So a few things my mind got cleared of, that you can serve nation from anywhere. Don't you think your teachers are serving the nation? They're doing such tremendous task. So you can be directly. I feel I was very privileged. I feel God was very kind to me, that I was able to directly serve my nation. I was able to, be part of certain operation because, after 71 war, there was not very many wars. People have joined services and left services. I joined service for very short time and I could have seen the operations, right? So we can serve nation from anywhere. People who go abroad are also contributing to India by, you know, through the economy or any other perspective. You have to see where your niche lies, where you can perform well, where your knack lies. So whatever you are doing, you are serving nation, because we really need to, we always work for ourselves. I am working for myself. But if we attach a bigger mission, if I want to create a lot of wealth for myself, let's say today everybody wants to become entrepreneur and create a lot of wealth, right? So you are creating that wealth for yourself, or you're creating that wealth for this nation. The moment your perspective changes, you're serving your nation. But if it is me, I myself, for me, I get fame, I get power, I get then you are not able. So I think those are certain understandings that I have developed from then onward till now. But of course, serving a nation directly through through this operation was privilege, and I'm eternally grateful to Almighty for giving me that opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is that okay?
Thank, thank you, ma'am. How did your experience in the Kargil War shape your views on leadership and teamwork?
Oh, very important. Very, very important. No, so of course, Kargil is a operation which was like live and where a lot of human lives were involved. So of course, leadership was very, very important. But leadership is important in every area of our lives, you know. And we all need to be leader. Leader doesn't mean authority. You know, you're telling others, please do this, please do that. Leader is somebody who understands his team, his or her team. You know, leader is somebody who can empathize with everybody. Leader is somebody who's also very assertive, who's also very clear, right? Who also makes way for everybody. There are times when we start our projects or our mission or our operation, for that matter, even Kargil, when we started, the situation was very complex and ambiguous. You know, there were a lot of uncertainty. But our leaders have actually taken that. I mean, I must appreciate and bring in the role of then Prime Minister Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He just went few days ago to Pakistan and signed Lahore Accord. We were two nuclear armed nations. The whole world was looking at us. You know, how is this fight going to be? You know, and within next 15 days, what he understand is that this, while I was embracing the Prime Minister of Pakistan, they were already conniving and, planning to attack us. You know, so that is where that leader took the decision that we have to immediately launch Operation Vijay and we have to win. We are not going to compromise on our territorial integrity. You know, Kashmir is ours and Kashmir will remain ours. So, how strongly determined and clear as a leader you are is more important, right? And of course, then the team work together. So, team will work together and follow if the leader is strong, empathetic, and understands everything. So, is that okay?
Well
Ma'am,
said.
thank you.
Well said, ma'am.
Lovely. Your students are
Anna,
damn good. So nice.
thank
I'm
you.
so happy.
I would like to ask you this question. What what advice would you give to young students who aspire to join the armed forces?
Wow, wonderful. I'm so happy to see there are students who aspire to join armed forces, and that is how the nation should be. You know, everybody should want to serve the nation directly by joining armed forces. So, advices that I want to give you all is work on yourself. Be very healthy, right? Don't eat junk food. Work on your stamina, work on your do a lot of exercise, right, so that you remain very healthy. Work on your mental health also. Please, please, and please, the youngsters, don't you ever go and spend a lot of time on those reels and shorts and on screen. That is actually killing our younger generation. Please, I know some of you get tempted, your mothers are busy, they give you phone or tab or laptop, whatever, but then determine yourself. Put a limit that I'm going to watch 20 minutes. So 20 point no, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to continue to watching this. So you have to discipline yourself. When you discipline yourself, because that is of course required for everybody. But when you're going to give your entrance examinations and when you're going to give your SSBs, there your physical, your mental, your limits are actually pushed and you're tested for that. So, and remain very inspired, very, very inspired to join armed forces. right? So these are some of the advices that if you all can follow, you'll definitely be able to serve nation directly by joining armed forces. So thank you so much. Thank you, little
Thank
boy.
you, ma'am.
That's very cute.
Thank you, Vasa. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
And that will be our last question, children. If you have more questions, ma'am, my request to you is we will write all the questions down and send them to you.
I will
And
reply to
maybe
all
you
of them.
can send the answers back and we'll share it with them.
Definitely. I will keep
And
doing
Renu,
that.
ma'am.
Please do that.
Thank you, Renu, ma'am. It was not just a pleasure to listen to you today, but our honor and privilege to have you here with us, interact with our children. It's a very special occasion, the 25th year anniversary of the Kargil War victory. And we couldn't have done it better. Every year we celebrate it by having someone from the armed forces or the air forces or the Indian Army come in and speak to the children. And we talk about it. We have conversations around what is it that makes heroes, which makes leaders, and builds people into such personalities who have such resilience, right? And today, when we heard you read out diary, we actually understood what could have been going on in your head at that moment. And being a woman, most importantly, that definitely is not an easy journey to have. And thank you for being one of the pioneering members of the Indian Air Force. Thank you for doing that. And I'm sure our children are inspired by everything that you've said today. We'll shortly be putting up the recording on our official YouTube page at the channel, and a lot of people will then be able to listen to you all over again so that we reach larger audiences. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, ma'am, for joining us. We thank the parents for joining in, those who have. Thank you, children. We've done this in hybrid mode, and Renu ma'am is joining us from Chandigarh today. And you are here in your classrooms and the auditorium. We've made use of this
Technology.
platform,
Yes.
technology to
Lovely.
connect. One more
Lovely.
thing I'd like to say that today we are also collecting messages for our brave hearts, and we've shared a QR code. The messages will be sent to our Kargil War heroes. We'll also be putting up a book on the portal by Colonel VP Malik, a very well-known book on the Kargil War. Every year, children get to read a book, and this year
Wow.
it will be this book being put up. Children, there are also certain books in the library that you can read on the Kargil War. So thank you once again, teachers, for organizing this. And Renu ma'am, I will come in here and request you that whenever you're in Delhi next, you must
I
come
will.
visit our campus and must see our
100%.
wonderful children. And
Absolutely.
teachers who are there, if you can turn the screen towards the auditorium, I would request each and every child in the auditorium to stand up. Children, can I have you all stand up? Anju ma'am, I request you to turn the screen so that ma'am can see the children. Can you switch on your
That's so
camera?
sweet.
Everyone at attention.
Wonderful.
These are all our
Oh,
children who are in their rooms.
so
Thank you,
sweet.
Disha ma'am. Thank you to all the
Thank
teachers.
you.
Children,
Thank you.
that is my auditorium and all our children there.
Lovely.
Children at
Lovely.
attention. And can I have you unmute? And together, let's
Jai
do
Hind.
a Jai Hind for ma'am and Indian Armed Forces. Are we ready? Together, teachers and children?
Jai
Jai
Hind.
Hind.
Wow. So sweet.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Jai
can we hear it from
Hind.
ma'am?
Jai Hind.
Let's give it up
Thank
for
you so much. Thank you so very much. I didn't stand because then I'll go above the camera. So these are little issues of the, hybrid
That
mode.
is fine, ma'am. And truly, truly privileged and honored to have you with us. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
children,
much.
for being
Thank you.
such a wonderful audience.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, children. Thank you, Ahana, being such a wonderful MC. And thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, ma'am. Thank you.